Duels. What is happening? What's up with y'all? We doing this RPG Maker 3 business once again. I finally started a new project, so this is the survival horror attempt that I'm going to be making. This trying to make a horror game out of RPG Maker 3 with a lot of preset assets, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge for sure, but it's coming out pretty good so far. I dare say it's one of my most ambitious projects. The latest thing I'm doing right now is just trying to build on this field map that I'm working on. I'm trying to make it feel really pronounced, really like it's let's say the last game that I made, I was trying to make it the gameplay the priority here. For the last game, I tried to make the gameplay the priority. For this one, I'm trying to make it a bit of everything, like not just the gameplay, because I already have like the gameplay kind of under my belt. I feel really confident with that. Now I'm just trying to tie everything together and trying to just get a overall experience. But I think mostly I want to focus on visuals and settings and atmosphere. That's the main thing that I'm trying to get right now. This real kind of, in Tekken 5, I believe, it's the moonlit wilderness. I kind of wanted that type of vibe. It's kind of hard to get that, but I think if I were to add a couple of adjustments, I like putting the fog because it hides a lot of the graphics, and the graphics in this game more or less, I wouldn't say they're the worst, but they're definitely the laziest. Because a lot of it is just copy pasted, and you get close, the pixels are just really yuck. So let's try it with the fog on it. So I'm gonna just try to see what this looks like real quick. I like this so far. I want this to be my world map. Okay, so far it's looking pretty good. I haven't done a whole lot. It's definitely going with the survival theme. And I'm trying to put horror in it, but again, it's kind of hard to do that. But I'm most proud of is this town map that I did and the gameplay mechanics I have. By this, I think this little contraption right here is going to make or break the experience. This side value that you also have to keep in track by doing, everyday things like, sleeping on time, eating and drinking water. That's what I have so far. So every time you come to this base, I want the gameplay loop to kind of be like real tight, where you have to do these things to progress. You come home, you get this little notification of what your condition is after doing certain things, which I haven't really ironed out how I want it to work. Your value goes down and you have to just try to keep it in check. So there's that. Also, I'm liking the way the town is looking. I haven't quite captured the real creepiness essence that I want to get so far, but I'm still working on it. I'm still in the beginning stages of it, but I really like the map design I have going here. It feels really homey. The last game I made, it wasn't much going inside of buildings. It was mostly on the exterior, dealing with fields and the wilderness. But this one is definitely more indoorsy. So let me get to talking about the battle system that I have, which, as I mentioned, there's two different systems. There's the generic RPG system, and then there's me trying to make something out of nothing. And so let's take, oh shit, this is RPG Maker 3, by the way. This is just a graphical thing that just happened. I just got stuck in the wall. I just got stuck in the wall. Like, I literally just got stuck in the wall. I just ran up to the wall and I got stuck in it. How do they put this game out like this? I just ran into the wall to I wanted to close the town off at a specific time, to keep from breaking sequences. But when I try to close the town off, he just walks through the wall and he gets stuck in the wall. How am I supposed to work under these conditions? And the only way I could get out of it is by using my Korean backspace technique. I love saying that, Korean backspace. Right? And I'm really nervous about doing too much because last game I made, I ran out of memory space and I couldn't do anything else. So I wanted to finalize my vision of the game. So I'm really always looking at that counter, like just trying to be as conservative as I possibly can, but I'm already at 10%. You know, and I feel like I haven't done too much. Alright. So sleeping will recover your condition some, as well as finding food wherever on a map, wherever I haven't really placed it anywhere yet. As well as drinking water, collecting water. You gotta collect the stuff. You know, standard survival type of game mechanics. And then the condition is improved again. So let me show off the one battle area that I have done so far, because I feel like if you want to make a survival horror game and a game that's kind of scary, dealing with preset assets from an RPG maker, it's going to be very difficult, especially once you see that monster and you realize, oh, that's that Lego monster, that Toucan Sam looking phony son of a bitch. That's supposed to give me the creeps, the heebie-jeebies. You know, it's really going to be hard to carry that mountain, carry that torch when your villain, your creature comes out, you know, being a Toucan Sam. So you have a choice of which way you want to open approach on the area. You want to light a candle, and lighting a candle, what I have in my notes so far is those would reveal secret locations, traps hidden, and give you access to some locked doors. Quietly would reset a timer, because you're always on the timer in these areas where you're going to be faced with an encounter. And ready weapon would prevent injuries. I'm still working out the kinks, but right now the only thing I got working is quiet and light a candle. So we light a candle. Alright, and it changed the setting of the cave just a little bit. And so I have everything on the timer to try to keep the survival aspect in place, and the horror comes from just having so many ways that the game will try to make you lose while you're trying to maintain a steady health and all that stuff. So I'm using these key items as part of the battle system where you have to collect them. And when you collect them, you gain access to one of these items. You have a guard key item, you have a parry key item, and you have a evade key item. Give you the ability to do these options in which you're fighting this role-play enemy with 4 HP. And what I have in my notes so far is guarding is a guard all. It's basically just a free protect. Parry is for wild-based movements. So let's say that this said that the creature was licking his ass, and it all the way turned around and did a 360, and it's out of control. Then you would want to parry that. So that's in my notes right now. And in evade is for enemies that are more discreet and quiet and trying to be sneaky and conniving. Whereas in this case, the creature inches closer, that would be an evade. So it's kind of just wordplay, identifying what's the threat. But right now I don't have any of the key items, so I can't pick any. I'm gonna take damage for it. So I lost damage, so let me just give myself the key items real quick. Alright. And so the theory here is that during your search through these dungeons, or for whatever reason that you would be doing this, I haven't really put it together, but let's say you're searching for treasures and all that stuff. While doing this, you're also fighting this active encounter at the same time. You're trying to collect goods to find your parries, to find your defense, to find your attack items. So you're doing the same thing. I want to evade it. I can protect it. And there's a knife here. I can use the knife. And then I have an arrow. I got the arrow. I'll shoot the arrow. So I dealt 2 damage to him after guarding. And I have it's kind of a turn-based because I have the knife can only be used after a defensive turn. Don't ask how I managed to pull that off. It's really complicated. So it's still kind of turn-based, but active turn-based. So during this battle, you'll be searching through the dungeon, collecting treasures and stuff. Finding story points and key points in the story to get what you need to get out. It makes it kind of more engaging to search for loot and stuff. Because as of right now, this is just taking place in this one area, but I plan for it to just go all over the dungeon. So he has 2 HP now. The feigned creature rotates, swiping everything. This would be a parry. I don't think I have a parry, so I'm gonna just guard. And every time you use one of these key items, you lose them. So you gotta be mindful what you want to do. Do you want to play it tightly and use the correct answer and parry it? Do you want to just be extra safe and use the free get out of jail card and just guard it? And then there's like some attacks that you have to guard. So that's the gist of the system I have. The feigned creature unleashes a deadly assault, so I have nothing to protect myself from this. So I'm just going to eat damage. Alright, so I'm at 1 HP. I'm going to just give myself the treasure item because I didn't place any treasures down yet. And I could just shoot him and kill him right now without having to deal with it. That's the thing, the arrows are free. Anytime you get an arrow, you can just do it whenever. So you just, in theory, you just collect a bunch of arrows and just bang them out. But you can only collect 1 key item at a time, so you have to just, you collect it, come back, find the arrow shooting spot, shoot it. So it adds a bit of skill and a bit of strategy in that sense that RPG Maker 3 normally doesn't have. It normally isn't revolved around skill. It's more so just around thinking and processing abilities. But this actually adds an element of skill to it, where you have to have paths that you could take. You have to have control of your character, and you know how to move them as swiftly as possible to optimize, blah 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 blah. So that's what I'm excited about. The creature cries in defeat, and the splatter of blood from the bout fills the halls. In the distant shadows, you see something begin to flinch. Alright, so I'm gonna just change the map setting because I like the blood color to be purple. It's more creepy looking. So now after you beat the whatever you call that creature, you would get the key, continue through the dungeon. But now you activate the next element of the dungeon where there's going to be more stuff like that. Probably not as many options because that takes up a lot of memory, putting all that together. So I'm going to be just kind of limiting down a bit, making it a bit more simplistic, where it uses less memory but also keeps its integrity. And here's the next stage of the active stuff. After that stuff, it's just going to be random, varying between dungeons. Now you have to deal with the actual combat system. So I'm probably gonna get KO'd here. But there's also a strat in this, is that if you guard the first turn, you get the second turn free. Then you guard the next turn, because you have a speed advantage over every opponent to try to give you more strategy. So I'm gonna guard. He's not gonna attack, but I'm just gonna hit him with the big guns. You know, so this is my attempt at a Resident Evil clone, I guess. Yeah, you can't even call it that with a straight face. Scrambling for ammunition. Since I just use the MP is gonna be used like ammunition, like ammo. I use both ammos for the game's version of a shotgun. Spread big damage, but it causes 2 bullets. Poison arrow causes 1 bullet, but they're guaranteed hits. So I'm out of ammo, so I'm gonna have to just pray and hope. I have a story in place as well. I actually took some time to write a little bit of the story. Not too much, but enough. I think I'm going to get a USB keyboard so I can really get down and dirty. But I don't know, we'll see. But I'm really optimistic with what I have so far. I like that I managed to get the world map that I wanted. I could put the system anywhere. Like, you can't have fights or encounters in buildings and towns, but with this system in place, I could theoretically have encounters, you know, in places that normally wouldn't be possible, and add a bit of, you know, scare factor. Like, you think you're safe in a town or something, then all of a sudden you get hit with this battle that's placed upon you, and now you have to, you know, scramble through the town to get in, get what you want, and get out. You know, where normally you would just be cakewalking through, you know, blah 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 blah. What the hell is this creator of this game want me to do? What do they want me to do to advance the story? Now I'm gonna throw a freaking Santa Claus with a 10-inch shotgun chasing you down the roadway, and you're going to have to find a way to talk to Gary to get his snail food at the same time. So that's, you know, the imagination is the limit, and we'll see. So I just wanted to show you guys what I got going so far. Why I've been quiet for the past few days. Just cool off on that a little bit, get to something a bit more me, and I'll get back to the goon and finish the road solo after this is uploaded probably. And I also have the Jordan playthrough. I've done another round. I'm going to put it all into one video, but actually it's going to be 2 videos to clear off some space on my computer so I can upload more of the goon stuff. So that's probably going to be next. The Jordan to clear off some space, and then it's going to be the road solo, and then, you know, we'll be back to business. I'll try to beat the game relatively soon. And yeah, hope you guys are having good times and good days, and we'll see. You know, with that, I bid you guys further ado. May peace be with. Always keep your heads up. Deuces, dos, both adios, stay cool. And if you like my content, be sure to show some love, but always and always be sure to show some love to the mother-loving people that matter to you. This is ITOwl, and be cool. Showing you some survival horror RPG Maker 3 style, the worst of the worst, with the optimistic of the optimistic, trying to make something out of nothing. That's just my everyday life, and that's just the way I roll. You know, try to improvise, and, you know, be cool. Peace.